I gotta figure out what bolts, honestly. The kit comes with like bags of bolts and washers and nuts, which is great, but no instructions. We're going to take a second and look at this cross member. This ThorBros 5-link kit allows me to replace the cross member right behind the cab and use the factory gas tank. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes. I gotta figure out what bolts, honestly. The kit comes with like bags of bolts and washers and nuts, which is great, but no instructions. And so I got to figure out which ones have theoretically the best placement for this cross member. So I'm just going to set the camera up and try and figure out those bolts and get the cross member in, because then that lets me start working my way back with the axle and the 3-link portion, and kind of going from there. So that's the next step in the process. Here we go. Alright, here's our bags of bolts. Obviously these are longer. These look like they would be shock bolts or things that are going through for the 3-link. These much longer. So obviously it's not going to be those. Set those aside. These are shorter. They look like they could be the ones because there's 4 of them. And it's got these plates. It's got these plates in here, and I think these are maybe, no, not U-bolt related. Not quite sure what they're for. So these are a possibility. I'm going to check and see if maybe these line up underneath, that it would get sandwiched under the frame, you know, with these bolts going through. But we'll check on that, because there's only 2 of them in here and 4 bolts, which is convenient. Outside of that, everything else is these, so obviously these could work. So we'll see what we think. So we'll go over and get the piece set up, and then do some testing and find out. Alright, so here we've got the cross member, and if I just take this and do a quick little do a quick little test, it does actually fit there. The holes line up, so I'm thinking maybe this is to sandwich underneath the frame and just pancake it in there. Yeah, pretty unclear, but I'm gonna guess on that one, and then I'll test the bolts out when I'm over there at the frame. Alright, so here's the holes that we're going to line up with the factory holes. If I can get this up on top here just to test it out. Got these holes here. I'm going to take a nut and a washer. Drop it through there. Do the same thing on the other side, but let me test this and see if this thing fits under here. See if I can get you down there. Yeah, so there you go. You can see we got plenty of room down here to put the nuts and washers on. I'm actually going to check on one of the Facebook groups real quick and see if I can find a picture of anybody that's done this install and has something where I can just see if this fits on top or on bottom. Because on the 504 kit, actually bolted from underneath, where this cross member looks like it's going to sit on top. So I'm going to go find out real quick and then come on back. I'll put bolts on the other side just so it doesn't fall off the truck real quick. All right, thanks to the Facebook group. I checked, saw an image. Tim Champagne's truck has the kit on and functioning, so I was able to zoom in on the picture, saw that this cross member is mounted on top of the frame. So we were right. We're going to go ahead and put these guys in here. Lock washer and a nut. So I'm not going to tighten this down all the way yet. I'm going to leave it a little loose. You can shift a little bit. My next step is actually to get the pumpkin, whatever you want to call it, the thing that sits on top of the rear axle, mounts onto the back, and then that's where the 3-link piece will attach, and that will help set up my my angle for the rear axle. I've got to also, if I bring you down here, I have to relocate where we pulled off the rear hangers, or whatever they are, shackles, hangers for the they were originally for the leaf springs. Pull those out. You have to move them back 8 3/4 inches, I think is what he measures. I've got some marks underneath here for the far side. And so once I get the rear axle in, then I can post these in and check the length, because it comes with little with the arms, the trailing arms there. So that's gonna be the next thing to do. Once I get the axle in place, then I'm gonna come in, actually cut this out, weld in the bottom of the frame notch and secure that, and then we can start working on the rear cross member, which holds for the cantilever parts. And then we've also got the top shock brace that's going to go up here and goes across. It's just a round bar that goes from here across, and it's got shocks, but the shocks have not come in yet, so I'm still waiting on those. Anyway, I think that's it for today.